Getting a news conference right now in from one of our local officials.
The sheriff, Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez.
Within a 1.5 mile radius. That fire happened around midnight. Our deputies encountered smoke and complained of respiratory irritation. One was taken to a nearby hospital by ambulance, and 14 drove themselves to the hospitals to be evaluated. At last check, 13 of the 15 deputies had been released by the hospital, and the other 2 were still being checked out. Arkema company officials and the Harris County Fire Marshal's Office have told us that exposure to smoke from these organic peroxides is similar to standing over a burning campfire. Based on this information, we believe the smoke is a non-toxic irritant. The Fire Marshal's Office plan from the beginning was to allow this fire to burn itself out. Firefighters are taking a defensive posture to prevent it from spreading. Next, we're going to hear from Assistant Chief Royal from the Harris County Fire Marshal's Office. And then after we complete, officials from Arkema will be providing their statement here as well.
Thank you, Sheriff. My name is Bob Royal, R-O-Y-A-L-L. I'm the Assistant Chief of Emergency Operations for the Harris County Fire Marshal's Office. The Harris County Hazmat team is part of my command. A statement that I'd like to share with you is that earlier this week, at approximately 2 a.m. on Tuesday morning, the county EOC, which was in full operation at level 1, received a call for a water rescue at the Arkema plant. The Crosby Fire Department initiated that rescue. The next morning, or later that morning, somewhere after daylight, and remember it to be somewhere around 7 or 8 a.m., the members that were working down at the EOC had a conference call with Arkema corporate offices, and they asked for a complete evacuation of the plant. Shortly after that, an hour or so later, Department of Homeland Security, Infrastructure Protection, contacted myself and Chief Reed with the Harris County Fire Marshal's Office and others, and we had an extensive conference call and talked about what was going on out at Arkema. Since that time, we developed a plan with the Crosby Fire Department, who is the incident commander on this incident, and we decided that we would invoke a safety zone around the plant, which has been done. We established that isolation perimeter at 1.5 mile radius. After we established that evacuation zone, the Crosby Fire Department, local law enforcement, and other agencies that are working the flooding event here in Harris County went door to door and evacuated all those that were close to the plant that would leave. Since that time, we have been in a defensive posture, holding a perimeter around the facility to make sure that our citizens are safe and that our environment is protected to the best we can. This morning, as expected, for all of the research that was done by myself and others, we found out that we had one of the box vans that there was a chemical decomposition, chemical reaction that resulted in a fire at that location. There were a number of the small containers that are inside the box van that did rupture. We had heard some popping noise coming from that area, then gray smoke, and then followed by a fire. It is my understanding that this is one of 3 of the containers that they had lost refrigeration on. And so we can expect similar type of decomposition in those other trailers, and maybe even all 9 of them before it's over with. So so far what has happened is exactly what we expected was going to happen. We're still in a defensive posture. We're holding our perimeter. Our law enforcement partners are holding that perimeter. And at this time, Sheriff, if you want to take any questions.
Yeah, real quick, I'm going to just say it in Spanish, our part of it. Al principio de esta semana, oficiales de la compañía de Arkema nos habían dicho que habían perdido la posibilidad de continuar de refrigerar las químicas que tenía allí, que es un organic peroxide que usan para fabricar plásticos, materiales de plástico. Sabíamos que tarde o temprano iban a comenzar a agarrar fuego. Por eso ayudamos a evacuar a residentes que viven entre 1 milla y media de la fábrica. Esta noche pasó la primera incendio. Nuestros oficiales que estaban ahí manteniendo la área encontraron humo y comenzaron a quejarse que estaban respirando como humo. Uno fue llevado a la ambulancia, 14 más ellos mismos manejaron al hospital. Lo más reciente es que de 13 de los 15 ya han sido despedidos del hospital y parecen estar bien, y los últimos 2 lo están atendiendo ahí. Los oficiales de Arkema con Harris County, la oficina del Fire Marshal, nos han dicho que ese humo no causa mucho peligro, y es más o menos como oler humo cuando uno está sobre una parrilla. Entonces ellos han estado coordinando esto y pensamos que vamos a tomar una postura defensiva donde no tenemos que atacar el incendio, y es posible que vamos a escuchar más de estos truenos. Entonces por eso estamos aquí. Any specific questions about for us?
So both of you explain the mixed messages. Arkema in writing called this 2 explosions. You guys seem to dispute that. Are you guys on the same page?
I'll let the Fire Marshal speak to that, and then Arkema obviously will be speaking, and they can speak to their terms.
And sir, to answer your question, we're on the same page. It's a matter of terminology. I call it a chemical reaction and an overpressure of the container. You'll have to ask Arkema about their explanation as far as explosions go. That's not my business. My business is protecting the citizens and our environment.
But speaking of that makes it sound like you guys are not coordinating, and I had residents ask me this morning whether you guys are talking to each other, and why the difference?
Sir, we are.
I don't know what the danger is.
Sir, we are coordinating. We've had conference calls 2 times a day since this started. And we've had our law enforcement partners in there, us in there, and our industrial liaison from Harris County. We have been cooperating. You'll have to ask those specific questions about Arkema terminology and statement to them. I'm just telling you what we are doing and what we are involved in our approach.
Hey, Chief, so obviously being in the business that you are, I mean, there are big explosions in life and there are small explosions. I mean, when you go back to chemistry class, you can have one right in front of you on the table, right? So to watch you sort of parse your words this morning, sort of set off, no pun intended, people in the area who were like, what is this guy doing, right? So it's an explosion, but I don't understand why you guys were sort of so picky with words. Was it a small explosion? I mean, when you look at the aerials and you see the fire that's burning and the damage that's been done, it's clear that it's more than just a reaction.
You must not have heard me say that containers ruptured.
Correct,
okay,
ruptured.
A small pop or a sound of a popping
Right.
sound. What I don't want the public to think that these are massive explosions.
Right.
We're trying to make sure that our citizens are comfortable in what's going on and that they know the truth. And so with that, these are small container ruptures that may have a sound, may have a sound of a pop or something of that nature. This is not a massive explosion.
Right. Small explosion. I mean,
That's what you're going to call it. I'm going to call it a container rupture, okay?
got it.
How much isobutylene and sulfur dioxide?
Pardon me?
How much isobutylene and sulfur dioxide?
You will need to ask the company that question, ma'am.
When can residents return to their homes?
When it's safe. Once we determine as public safety officials it's safe for them to return, we will make sure that message is conveyed to our citizens.
Do you anticipate fire?
The size of the fire was a part of a 18-wheeler box fan truck. Part of it.
Do you know what the size of the fire is right now?
We had an overflight earlier this morning. We have not been back over it yet, so I don't have an update as far as that.
So just one part of one truck. Part of one truck.
A portion of one truck so far, yes, ma'am.
Okay, when I was speaking to Jeff Carr earlier this morning, he described 2 railroad cars. What's the difference here?
A railroad car, depending on the size of trucks, a railroad car holds a lot more than a truck. And I'll just kind of give you an inference. If you will, a tank car is equivalent to, depending on the size of the tank trucks, 10 or 11 or 12 tank trucks. So that kind of gives you, depending on the size of the tank truck.
Okay,
These are not rail. These are not rail cars. These are not tank cars.
Okay.
There are some that are on the railroad that are 2 miles away that have nothing to do with this. They're on a siding that belong to a different facility.
Do you expect to be able to get in there, Chief, at some point? Like, how high is the water right now, and do you think there may be an opportunity to get in there and sort of do some work to contain future ruptures?
Right now, the water is still up in the plant. We do not know exactly how deep because we have this evacuation perimeter around it. That will be a determination by the plant, by Arkema, if they're going to go in and try to do anything. That's not my decision.
What do you know about the chemicals that have been released that potentially could be released? What are the potential health effects for your residents?
What I know from doing research is these things are going to catch on fire. They're going to burn with intensity. Most of the material is going to be consumed by a very hot fire. Okay? From what I have researched and understand is that the byproducts of that is going to be a black smoke with carbon particles in it. Okay? As far as a liquid flowing from there.
Put that into simpler terms, though. What does it mean for people's health?
What does it mean for people's health? You don't want to stand in the smoke, do you? So the sheriff says it's like a campfire. It's hydrocarbons burning. There's a lot of things that made up of hydrocarbons. So
the things burning there are no more dangerous than a campfire?
Yeah, I did not say that, sir.
To people's health. I mean,
right. You don't want to inhale smoke. Okay? I mean, that's plain and simple. So it's smoke with carbon particles in it.
That's it.
So that's what I have been. It's what I have researched, and that's what I have discussed with.
Speak next. On your own, but there are experts there that are producing this. Why aren't they providing you, the researcher, more information?
Ma'am, we just said we're going to speak right now.
They are going to speak next. They have provided us documentation about the materials, and I'm looking at it from a public safety standpoint.
All right, one more question for Chief Royal, and then I need to take him.
Congressman Ted Cruz is calling for a wider evacuation area. What do you have to say to that? This is his district. He said he thinks it should be expanded.
Ma'am, I haven't talked to the congressman, and so I'm not going to comment on that because I haven't talked to him, so I don't know whether,
Well, whether he said it or not, do you think it should be expanded, and if not, why?
I am comfortable with a 1.5 mile exclusion zone because that is actually longer than whenever I'm talking me, and the law enforcement officials set down. It could have been a mile, would have been adequate, but the streets, the way they're laid out, it gave us an opportunity to make it 1.5 miles, which gives us extra safety factor.
Sheriff, how close were your deputies?
Do we know how close, Russ? About 1.5 miles. Yeah. Now we'll have the officials from Arkema step up and offer the further explanations.
My name is Rich Renard. It's Rennard from Arkema. I'm the president. Sure, it's Richard Renard, Rennard, and I'm the president of our acrylic monomers business. I'm the president of our acrylic monomers business. Acrylic monomers. It's another one of our business divisions in the company. As you might imagine, with all of the unprecedented flooding that we've had, it's been difficult to get people from around the country organized here to deal with the issue that we're facing with. So it's kind of all hands on deck, and I'm here to try to help share key messages with the community and make sure that everybody understands what's going on with our site. First, let me just say, in terms of the question that was raised about our coordination and cooperation with the local authorities, the emergency response teams and the first responders have been doing heroic work to try to help us protect the local community and the residents. We want to thank certainly the Harris County Fire Marshal's Office, the Harris County Sheriff's Office, FEMA, the Department of Homeland Security. They've all been doing outstanding work, and we've been cooperating intimately with them to deal with the incident. Next, I'd like to just point out that obviously with Hurricane Harvey making landfall, this was an unprecedented storm. Our team in the site took extraordinary efforts to try to protect the integrity of the products that are involved, and I'll get into that in a little bit more detail here shortly. the materials that are involved are what we produce there are liquid organic peroxides. This is a chemical facility. We do produce, obviously, organic peroxides, and to do that, we have other chemicals stored on the site that we use as raw materials for the production of the finished product we make. The issue is not those materials. Those products are safely stored, and there's no issue with those as long as a broader area of the site's not involved. And what the concern is the cold temperature products, the cold temperature organic peroxides. These materials have to be maintained cold. If they start to warm up, they become unstable and they will decompose. When they decompose, they generate heat. And when they generate heat, there's a possibility of a fire and possible explosion. We do have 9 containers. These materials are stored in these box containers like you'd see on over-the-road storage containers. One of those containers has been involved, and the product in that container has started to degrade. That happened early this morning. We fully expect that the other 8 containers will do the same thing. Water is still in our facility and preventing us from accessing the facility. And we believe at this point that the safest thing to do is to allow the other 8 containers, product in those, to degrade and burn. Excuse me, just a few more remarks and then I'll be happy to take some questions. Certainly, on behalf of all of the employees at Arkema, I want to apologize for the impact that this is having on the local community. We certainly appreciate all of the work that the responders are doing to help protect the safety of those in the area, and that's our primary objective, and we're going to continue to do that. With that, I'm happy to take some questions. Maybe one at a time. Sorry. Was this an explosion? The chief says it wasn't. So our understanding is that the material is stored in these containers, and that there are pressure relief valves on these containers. When pressure builds up in the container to a certain point that exceeds the pressure of that valve releases, and it makes a popping sound. Our understanding is that that's the sound that we've heard. Certainly, these things can burn very quickly and very violently, and it would not be unusual for them to explode. But what we believe we've heard, and we're a mile and a half away from the facility, so we don't have anybody on the site that's watching what's happening. We believe that it's just hasn't been a massive explosion. It's just been these vapor relief valves that have been that popped.
Why is there potential for an explosion? Are you saying is there a potential for something more than just the pressure valve popping in a fire?
We certainly anticipate that. It's hard to predict if there will be an explosion, but certainly these things burn when they degrade, and there is a possibility that an explosion could happen.
Why did Arkema not mulch the chemicals? Why did you rely on cooling as your way to mitigate this disaster, this potential problem?
Well, the materials are required to be kept cold. As far as I know, I don't know that there's any chemical way of keeping that from happening. I
talked to 2 experts yesterday, Dr. Shamanan over at Texas A&M and somebody over at UH. Both said it's standard operating procedure at facilities like this to have a compound to neutralize the chemical. Why did Arkema not have such a thing?
Yeah, I can't comment on that. I don't know the chemistry that you're describing. So,
you said your plant has taken extraordinary measures.
Yes, we did.
Please describe those extraordinary measures.
Okay, so
when they started to happen. When you started implementing your plan.
Understand. So, on Friday, before the storm hit, we started taking measures to shut down our plant. The plant was safely shut down, and we put in place multiple layers of protection to try to provide refrigeration for the materials that need to be kept in storage.
Can you describe those a little bit?
Absolutely. So obviously our primary layer of protection was our power supply. When the storm hit, we lost our primary power. We brought in emergency generators to provide backup power, to provide refrigeration to those products. As the floodwaters rose, those generators were compromised, and we lost the use of those generators because of the floodwaters. We actually had a third system in place, which was liquid nitrogen. We have a liquid nitrogen system on site. to provide refrigeration to these storage containers. Because of the floodwaters, some of the equipment necessary to operate that liquid nitrogen system was also compromised. And then our fourth layer of protection was these refrigerated storage containers. So we brought these refrigerated storage containers, moved all of the product into these containers, which is where they are now.
How long did all of that take? More explosions or popping or whatever you want to call it?
Yes, we're anticipating that the remaining 8 containers that have not yet started to have product degrade in them, for that to start to happen.
How far away is
it? Excuse me, I'm sorry?
At least 3 are not cooling of the 8, is that accurate?
No, my understanding, gentlemen, is we've lost refrigeration capability in 8 of the 9.
8 of the 9.
Yes.
How far away are the tanks of isobutylene and sulfur dioxide from where the organic peroxides are worried about?
I'm not sure about the exact distance, but the containers themselves are in a remote area of the plant, so we don't anticipate any other buildings or equipment on the site to be affected.
Can we get a layout of the plant from Arkema so we can have an idea of how far away it is as the public, so they can know that?
Yeah, I think that.
We're relying entirely on you just saying that it's far away.
No, I think that's something that we can.
What are the potential health impacts?
Mr. Menard.
Hold on, excuse me.
I'm sorry, just a quick question. Two questions, if I may. Was there not enough time for you to get these trucks out of the way?
No, we felt that the best place to keep this material based on the nature of the product was in the plant. We have experts and people that know this chemistry, know how to handle the products. We had the equipment there, we felt like, based on what we would have anticipated happening in the storm. We certainly didn't want to bring these containers out onto the roads with hundreds or thousands of people being evacuated and having a trailer stuck on a highway somewhere with numerous people around. So we felt like the safest place to keep the containers and to protect the citizens in the area was to keep the product on our site.
In hindsight, you regret that?
No.
Let me ask you this. Are you willing to release a list of all the chemicals at that plant?
Yes, we can share the information about what other chemicals we have on the site.
Great.
Can you talk about the
excuse me, I'm sorry. Hold on, excuse me.
What are the consequences for the health? What are the health risks?
So what we have is a fire.
Talk to the microphones. Thank you.
I'm trying to speak to the individual that's asking the question. Sorry.
Nobody can hear you if you don't.
Sorry. So the question was, what is the health risk? What we have going on, it's not a chemical release that's happening. And I want to be clear about that. This isn't a chemical release. What we have is a fire. And when you have a fire where hydrocarbons, these chemicals are burning, sometimes you have incomplete combustion and you have smoke. And any smoke is going to be an irritant to your eyes or your lungs or potentially your skin. So if you're exposed to that, we certainly are encouraging anyone that may be exposed to the smoke coming from this fire to call their doctor or to seek medical advice.
Is this no more dangerous than a campfire? Is that correct?
I can't. I heard the sheriffs say that and the chief say that. I don't want to necessarily compare the intensity of the smoke of this.
In Spanish, the sheriff said that this is no more dangerous than a barbecue.
No, I heard the comment, but again, I don't want to make any comparisons on the kind of smoke that's coming from our fire.
You can't be sure that it's just a campfire smoke. You can't be sure that.
No, what I can tell you is that from the toxicity of the smoke will certainly cause an irritation to your eyes, an irritation to your lungs if you breathe it, just like any smoke. So when we encourage people not to, to avoid, getting exposed to that.
Can you go over what the status of the plant is right now? Just give us an update right now. What's going on?
So the plant continues to obviously be shut down. We have one of these 9 containers that has experienced degradation of the material inside the container. The water levels in the plant are starting to recede slightly. And that's the current state of the plant as we know it.
And the closest you can get is 7.5 miles?
Would it be people want to know how in danger they are? Thank you.
Well, so with the recommendation of the local authorities, we've established this 1.5 mile evacuation zone. We believe, along with the local authorities, that we've moved everyone out of harm's way, and that no one is in danger based on the fire that we expect.
Would it be possible for your teams to access the plant right now with a boat?
No, we are not intending to go into the site based on the current state as we understand it, of the product in these containers. We don't think that's a safe thing to do.
When will you be able to go into the plant again?
Well, certainly we won't until all of the floodwaters have receded. That's the first step. And then certainly the product that we believe is potentially decomposing, we're not going to put anyone in harm's way to try to restore refrigeration because we don't know the state of the product in the containers.
So you wait till the 8 ones decompose?
We will likely wait. We're working on that strategy now, but my expectation is that's what the plan will be.
If you were able to restore refrigeration, would that solve the problem?
If the products haven't degraded, yes, as long as they can be kept cold, they would be. The integrity of that material could be kept.
But right now, the closest you can get is 1.5.
Correct.
And they just degrade on their own?
That's right. Once they exceed a certain temperature, they begin to decompose, and that decomposition process generates the heat, which ultimately potentially produces the fire.
This has been described as intense fire. Can you talk about how they burn, and is there sort of a worst case scenario if there is an explosion that you talked about earlier? You know, how big are we talking about? What's the worst case with this fire?
Yeah, that would be all speculation in terms of how big a fire could be.
Right.
What we do know with the first container was that the sheriff's department did some video of what was happening. The smoke plume, we understand, was 30 to 40 feet in the air, and they could see visible flames coming out of the container. Is that the extent of what could happen? We just can't predict. So,
how hot does it burn?
I don't know the temperatures at which it burns. Guys, do you know? We can try to get that information for you.
Richard, you talked about shutting the plant down on Friday. Did y'all consider flooding in the placement of backup generators, and how often did y'all test the nitrogen backup system?
How often do we test the nitrogen backup system? Yeah, I'm not sure how frequently we are testing that equipment, but it certainly is maintained. It's one of our layers of protection to provide refrigeration to the cold products that we need to store. The beginning of your question was? Certainly we didn't anticipate having 6 feet of water in our plant. And this is really the issue that's led to the incident that we're experiencing now. I mean, it's.
Is that some more popular?
I'm not sure. Pardon?
Can you answer why were people sent home from the rescue center for those people living within 1.5 miles and then gone and got again and evacuated the second time?
Yeah, I can't comment on that. I don't know the details around that. Obviously, the fire marshal's office imposed the 1.5 mile evacuation zone. We certainly respected that, and we certainly encourage all of the residents that live inside that zone to respect that zone for their own safety. That if they returned back to their homes, they shouldn't have done that, and if they can still evacuate safely, we would encourage them to do that.
What's the possibility that an explosion or one of the explosions or fires could rupture other chemicals on site?
As I said, we believe that the containers are in a remote enough area that we don't anticipate any other damage to any other property on the site.
Do you feel you needed additional layers of backup power?
If you said that the chemicals could burn and then be released through the smoke, but is there any potential for them not to burn and be released into the floodwaters? And if so, could that do any damage to the environment?
No, we anticipate that the products will decompose once they start to warm up, and then they will burn.
Okay. Should you have had additional layers of power backup?
Well, we had generators, we had backup generators, we bought backup generators, so I'm not sure what much more we could have done to provide additional layers of security to provide power to the site.
Did the flood catch you off guard?
Sir, if you have no one on site, how accurately can you measure the situation, and how do you know the situation isn't even more worse than you now think it is, believe it is?
So inside these containers, there is remote telemetry that we can monitor the temperatures inside the container. That's how we know how things are progressing with regard to should we anticipate something to happen soon. That telemetry is also was compromised based on the flooding that took place, so it's not 100% certain what the conditions are in the containers, and so no, we're not going to put anybody in harm's way because we just don't know. So
a couple more questions, Rich.
So you don't have any idea of how long the fire will continue?
We do not. No, it's just we anticipate that certainly we've had the first incident. We don't know the answer to that.
Can you say the fumes are non-toxic, or you're just not so sure?
They're noxious, certainly. The toxicity of the fume, you mean the smoke? I mean, it's. I don't know the composition of the smoke, but it's certainly noxious. So.
Okay, so you can't say that neither the smoke nor the products themselves are non-toxic, because I believe that was said earlier.
How close are air monitors?
Wait, hold on. Please answer the question. Non-toxic, or can you not say
it's
that?
noxious. It's. I mean, toxicity is.
You're not able to say that it's that any of this is non-toxic, correct? I just want to make sure I'm correct.
I mean, organic peroxides are. As the sheriff said, they are chemical materials that are used to initiate other chemical production for the purpose of making plastics. I mean, toxicity is a.
So you can't say it. You're not going to say that they're non-toxic, correct? Are you going to say they're non-toxic, or you're not? Yes or no? I think it's a pretty important. It's a pretty important.
I mean, the smoke is noxious. Its toxicity is. Yeah, it's a relative thing. I mean.
So if you breathe it in, what will it do to you?
Breathe.
If you breathe it in,
if you breathe in the smoke, it's gonna irritate your lungs, and it's an irritant. It's gonna cause irritation in your lungs.
Which long effect smoke inhalation, it's not going to kill you just by breathing.
No, we don't believe that to be the case.
Is there anything you want to say? Is there anything you want to say to reassure this community? Because it says.
Okay, we've been listening to a news conference with the president of Arkema.
Well,
the plant in question, where we had a couple of explosions. We're also in the double boxes with our Red Cross phone bank to remind you folks to call 713-778-8920, because the number just, it is, right?
8920 for English, 8930 for Spanish.
Yes. So anyway, there were a couple of explosions overnight. We heard some local officials and the president of the company there describe them as container ruptures, which released some kind of chemical into the air, or a fire that was burning the chemical, and of course the fire not removing all of the chemicals from the air, so some of it sneaks out with the smoke. There was some kind of an irritant. They wouldn't say the word non-toxic, but some kind of an irritant that sent some deputies to the hospital.
Right, exactly. And we're getting more information on the classification of that irritant. They're saying it's an organic substance, so we're getting that information there clarified.